Hi there, it's Tom Morgan here with your weekly update. And today in the UK, it's actually a public holiday. It's Good Friday, so that means we get to not go to work. And I've been spending the day around the house doing some jobs, hence my slightly dishevelled appearance. I've I've actually spent the whole day outside really. I spent most of it refelting a shed, which is not the best job in the world, but hey, so now my hands and muscles are not thanking me. So it's nice to come in here and do this. All right, so what's been happening this week? Well, first up, I put out a blog post the other day about throttling that is coming to the Outlook APIs. And this was interesting for me, not just because throttling is coming to the Outlook APIs, but actually because of the way that it's happening and the way that it's being implemented. So, kind of cutting to the short story, from April the 21st, any API calls you make to the REST APIs for Outlook or the Graph API and the Outlook part of the Graph API calls are going to be throttled. So that's anything you hit at outlook.office.com/API or outlook.office365.com/API. And then there's a bunch of things in the graph as well, mail items, obviously, but also users and photos, calendars, attachments, group conversations, and people. Okay. The limit itself is 60 requests per minute per user per app. So 60 requests every minute for every user that you are getting information about per application ID. So that's actually pretty high. That means if you wanted to, you could poll for every user you care about, you could poll every second and you'd be fine. Now, I don't think you should do that. I don't recommend you do that. I don't think that's a great idea, but if you wanted to, that would be your upper limit. Now, the reason I think this is interesting is I get they have to put a limit in. That makes total sense to me. But the way they've done it is actually really good because the way they could have done it, the kind of quick and dirty way, if you like, is if you hit your limit, then you just get a connection refused, or you get some kind of 500 error, some kind of warning that you've been throttled, and that's it. You back off and you wait some period of time and you try again and hope you get lucky. What they've actually done is they've given developers loads of information. So let's say, for instance, you do hit the limit. And so what happens? Well, first of all, you'll get a very specific response. It won't just be a generic 500. It's going to be a really specific 429 error. Now, 429, I had to look this up. HTTP 429 means too many requests, which makes sense, right? So you'll get a specific response back to tell you that you are sending too many requests. Also, in that response that you get back, there will be two headers. One is called retry after and tells you how long you should wait before making another request. So you haven't got to try and calculate it. You haven't got to try and guess it. You haven't got to try and just keep trying until it works. You get told, wait this number of seconds, try again, and it'll work. And the second header you get is a rate limit reason. So a human piece of English that tells you, not a code, not machine speak, but real English telling you why you've been limited. So that might be useful. That might be something you might want to expose to the user, but it's definitely going to be useful for you in debugging. Okay, so that if they'd just done that, I would have still been happy. I'd have been like, this is good. They're giving you all the information you need that when you hit the limit, we know what to do about it and we know why. They're actually going one step further and they're trying to ensure that you don't hit the limit. So what they're doing in every request that you send them, there will be 3 new headers that come back. So one's called rate limit. It's called rate limit, which is what your limit is. So the maximum number of requests your app is permitted to make per minute for the current user. So at the moment, that's 60. Obviously, that might change, but they're going to tell you that in the header, so you can programmatically build that in to your application. That's really smart, because if they do bring the limit down later, and that's totally possible, they're totally within their rights to do that. What they may also do is cut the limit very harshly for a short period of time. For instance, if the system is under attack or under extreme load, they may cut the limit from 60 all the way down to, I don't know, 20 or something. If your application can respond to that and just keep on moving and keep on trucking without throwing a load of errors everywhere, you've got a better app. Anyway, I'm getting distracted from the three headers. So we had rate limit, which is what the limit currently is. There's rate limit remaining, which is how many requests you have left in the current rate limit window, and rate limit reset, which is the time at which that window resets. So with those three things, you can actually dynamically implement your how often you call the APIs and how you make sure that you never actually get that too many requests response. Because if you can do that, if you can plan out how you poll for information or how you get your information so that you never hit the limits, you're going to have a much better user experience in your apps. So I thought that was really interesting. It's kind of interesting for the news, like that it's actually happening, that there is now throttling in the APIs, but much more interesting for me actually was the way this has been done, because I think it's been done in a really smart way. So double thumbs up for me for that. All right, what's next? I didn't blog about this because it falls nicely actually into this camp of things that aren't really worth blogging about, but they're still really good information. And so what's this? So Troy Hunt, fellow MVP and security expert, knows everything there is to know about kind of web security, HTTPS, all that kind of stuff. He runs Have I Been Pwned? He's an Australian guy, lives on the Gold Coast, really nice bloke. He also does a weekly set of weekly updates, by the way, so you should totally watch them. Anyway, he has released a new Pluralsight course called What Every Developer Must Know About HTTPS. And in the kind of summary, he writes, it's a great time for HTTPS. Actually, there's never been a better time. And as each day goes by, we see constant reminders of how important it is. So I think this is really great. It's really good timing. He's absolutely right. HTTPS is becoming way more like the standard than it used to be. We see now Google preferring HTTPS, forcing it in some places, putting warnings all over the client if it looks like a logon page and it's not under HTTPS. So anyway, how you code for your sites to, in this kind of new world of HTTPS first, how you deal with the problems, the things that might go wrong, and the things you need to understand. Troy will know exactly what you need to know, and I have no doubt I have this course lined up in my Pluralsight list of courses, so I haven't been through it yet because timing, but I have no doubt this is going to be an excellent course. I'm really looking forward to going through it actually, because Troy absolutely knows his stuff. So yeah, I definitely recommend every developer go and look at this. I can't imagine you're a developer today and you don't encounter HTTPS in some way in your daily work. So excellent resource available now. All right, next. Yeah, a bit of an odd one. This there's a new bot in town. Every week at the moment seems to bring a new bot on the bot framework, and this one is a food-inspired bot, and it is done in conjunction with Chef Heston Blumenthal. Now, Chef Heston Blumenthal is a well-known British chef who is known for doing quirky things with food, strange things, and pushing the boundaries of what's possible with food and making us rethink how we perceive food. So it'll be interesting to see what this bot is like. Apparently, it questions everything, and it helps you grow your cooking skills and love of food. It is exclusive to the Skype network at this time. And the idea is that every month it's going to give you new recipes. And in between those months, little stories and chats. It's an interesting experiment actually into whether a bot is a good delivery mechanism for that kind of social media channel, and whether bots will become another social media channel. So you can go and read about that. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's on the Skype blog. It's available now. You just need to go and search for Heston bot in the Skype bot directory. And final piece of news is not specific to developers actually, but it's useful if you live in the Skype for Business world, and even if you're not a developer, you should probably know this is happening. And that is that there've been some changes to the Skype for Business meeting, the online meeting experience for external participants. So that tends to be participants that are federated and are joining from outside the company, or are external, not even federated, maybe anonymous users, may or may not have the Skype for Business client installed. And so it's simplified that meeting join experience. It's a refresh of the web app. It's the intention is to make it easier to use. There are new layouts, and it's optimized for kind of screen real estate. And yeah, it's supposed to be faster, it's more reliable, it's more efficient. It uses VVSS for screen sharing, which is the video-based screen sharing. So that's more performant, more responsive video in the screen sharing. So yeah, just it's good to know this is here. If you do any kind of development in this area, obviously the look and feel has all changed. Some of the capabilities might be tweaked, so you should definitely kind of go and understand that. Right, I think that's everything for me. I am going to go and have a well-earned drink. Have a wonderful Easter weekend if that's your kind of thing. If not, happy holiday time off, whatever. And I will see you next week.